Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting of the Legislative Committee to order. It's November 21st. It's 7:15 p.m. or thereabouts. I'll start with the roll. Mr. Massey?
Here.
Mr. Green is absent. Mr. Tobin?
Here.
Ms. Ray?
Here.
All right, 4 out of 5. We're still good to go. There are 2 items that appear before us. Counselor?
Which one first?
Oh, let's do farm animals. It's been sitting on the roster for quite some time.
All right, I don't think there's any more argument about it. We've added, Chief is not here, but he asked me to add 2 animals to the list of prohibited animals. I believe that's quails and guinea hens. I put it in there, and all it does is add 2 more animals. And the definition to me is clear. We have certain animals that are prohibited, and that's it.
I just want a clarification. When you say harboring, that includes indoors or outdoors? If I have
Correct.
20 quail in my basement, not allowed?
Right.
Okay. Tough on the quail. All right, are there any discussion? It's been sitting around for a while, pending clarification, mostly in the poultry department, apparently. Any comments, questions? All in favor of moving the resolution on?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Okay, we'll pass that on to the council at large. And smoke shops.
The idea of a license for these shops actually came from the mayor. I'll give him the credit for that. He told me that he understood that the city of Syracuse was considering a license that would go above and beyond a planning board special use permit. I took a look at it and I found that actually the city of Buffalo, about 6 months ago, last spring, enacted into law an ordinance similar to this. So I took a look at that, and I talked with the mayor and the police chief, and as you all know, we've had problems enforcing tobacco and vaping and smoking regulations that have now been exacerbated by the new cannabis law. The whole purpose of this type of permit is to give the city a little bit more enforcement power over these types of establishments by creating a permit that comes after the planning board permit and requires these shops to do a little bit extra and to submit to the enforcement regulations of the city. And I adopted the Buffalo law, but I changed it quite a bit to make it mesh with our enforcement procedures and our policies. So it's basically pretty simple. You have to do certain things to get the permit. You have to go through a quick investigation process. You have to do certain things to keep the permit. You get a due process hearing if there's a problem with it. The Commissioner of Public Works is the one that grants the permit. This council is designated as the body that hears any complaints about it or any attempts to suspend or revoke the permit. This council will make the decision after a due process hearing. So, in a nutshell, that's where it is. It's something brand new across the state. We're probably, I don't want to say the second municipality, but we're very close to being at the top of municipalities that have gone into this after the passage of the cannabis law. And there's no guarantees about how well it's going to work or if it's going to work, but the city of Buffalo did it, and I think it's a reasonable attempt for us to be able to increase our enforcement powers a little bit, because as you all know, we've had trouble enforcing the new rules. We've had cases in city court. We are getting more and more cases, and this gives us just another tool to keep an eye out and keep a hold on these establishments.
I had a question. If a student was distributing or selling products like this in a school, does that ever come under our purview, or that's strictly through the school district?
Well, I think it's both. It would not be allowed under our, it wouldn't be allowed under our zoning, number one. But it also comes under the school district's ability to enforce, what can happen inside a school. So I would say both.
Thank you. All right, it's been explained. Are there any questions from anybody on the committee or any others? Mr. Tobin?
More of a comment or maybe a question. I like the part about not having advertisements in the windows. I wish the gas stations would do that too, because let's face it, the tobacco industry is looking for the next generation of smokers, and they're advertising to kids. You know, they're making these things look fun, hip, cool, and so I think any kind of advertisements on the windows where kids can walk by and see, you know, the vaping and all this other stuff, you know, it's not appropriate, so I'm glad it's off the windows.
Yeah, that was not my idea. That was Buffalo's idea. I give them credit for that.
Mr. Witt?
Thank you. Counselor, I was trying to follow along with what you were saying, because you mentioned about after the planning board process. What about the existing businesses? Are they going to go through this as well?
Yes.
Okay.
If you take a look at this, they have a certain amount of time where they are going to have to apply for this permit. We give them the time to do it, but they are going to have to do it, and we will obviously have to advertise it, and we will give existing businesses personal notice.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the committee or others? Hearing none. All in favor of passing the resolution on to the council?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make the motion. Ms. Ray seconds it. Thank you again. All in favor? Aye. No discussion. Anything else that we should be discussing this evening?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, we're working on the other things that were tabled
Yes,
2 weeks ago. Because my punch list, I don't like a punch list, so.
I know. Well, we reduced it by about, what, 40% tonight?
Exactly. Very good. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Discussion.